All right, welcome back to Las Vegas here at the Stratosphere Hotel for three-wall ball outdoor championships. We've got a semifinals in the men's pro doubles. This is going to be a treat. This should be an exciting match. It's Chris McDonald from Florida and Robert Sostre from New York against Joe Young from Florida and Greg Solis.
0-0.
Score is 0, serving 0.
Start.
Oh, I'm going to need to get that mic.
0-0.
0, serve 0. A rare unforced error out of Chris. He usually eats that for lunch.
1-0.
1 serving 0. It's going to be interesting to see how Greg tries to attack Chris McDonald. And it's working. Apparently Greg already knew what he was going to do and decided he was going to go after Chris with the lob.
2-0.
2 serving 0. 3-0. Chris making a bunch of errors. This is the way Chris plays, though.
3-0.
He is a push up front, hit the ball hard, aggressive, down.
I call that good ball. I call that ball good. Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, that's the right call. Marcos made it wrong. Marcos Gravier is the referee.
4-0.
4 serve 0. Greg Solis. There's 2 Hall of Fame players against 2 of the best out of Florida. Greg Solis is a Hall of Fame last year's inductee, 2018 Hall of Fame class. This is outdoor Vic Lebowski calling the game.
5-0.
5 serve 0. I would have thought this is a pick'em game. I'm surprised that Chris was having so much trouble with that lob. There is a bit of a wind. We've got a solid 15-mile-an-hour wind with some gusts up to 25 or
Second
so.
server 5-0.
Maybe that was part of the strategy, is the lob to affect Chris McDonald. Robert Sostre with another great shot. Robert being a world-class, best one-wall racquetball player ever. All those shots that are straight in, straight out, Robert is going to have no trouble at all with.
0-5.
0 serves 5, Robert serving. What you just saw there is a contrast in styles. You'll notice Joe had a ball, backed up 4 or 5 steps to hit it and hit it low.
1-5.
He is an aggressive, shoot the ball kind of guy, and he likes to shoot from down low, always playing offense. And Chris McDonald is another, always be aggressive, always be offensive, but he will never take a backward step. He'll hit it overhead, hit it from up high. They've both been very
2-5.
successful with their styles, but they are drastically contrasting. Yeah, I would have expected this to be a pick'em game. I know all the players exceptionally well, and they've all, well, Greg hasn't
2-5.
played the other guys very much, but we've all seen each other play a lot. But Robert Sostre basically might as well be a
4-5.
Floridian. He plays in most of the Florida tournaments. Joe and Chris are, part of the old guard here in Florida. Not the main guard. Chris McDonald, part of the legendary McDonald family of outdoor racquetball players. His mom was on the tour. His dad was by far the best player in Florida for a lot of years.
5-4.
Chris grew up playing racquetball. Yeah, I think that lob serve strategy against Chris, even though it had some initial success, might have been wind related, that success. I don't foresee Chris
5-4.
having trouble
Second
with it
server.
the whole game. I would suggest it. If I was coaching Greg, I would tell him to mix it up. But we'll see. He's ahead right now.
4-5.
4 serves 5. 4-5. Second. Chris is off his game. That's bread and butter for him. Normally, he's very consistent on that kind of shovel push into the corner.
Side out, 5-4.
You know, usually I would try to tell the crowd that with Chris, he starts out amazing and makes all these amazing shots, and the opponents think how lucky he is. After 8 or 10 great shots, they realize he's not lucky. He's just unconventional in style.
5-4.
Many players have tried to take advantage of Chris being that far up, returning serve, and he has shown himself to be able to handle the ball at incredible speeds. Coming right back at him. There you go. I called it. It's usually a bad idea to try to beat Chris McDonald like that. Back of the wall, going around him is where you beat Chris, not through him. Of course, gave him the Kalahari, compliment him, and of course he screws up.
4-6.
4 serve 6. Nope. Nice shot, Chris. 5-6.
5-6. Ball, please.
6-6. I expected it to be like this. You know, it's going to shock me if either team takes any kind of a large lead. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see this go tiebreaker. I would say Greg Solis is, the two on the right are going to be the most consistent. That's Greg Solis and Robert Sostre. And Chris would probably be the least consistent. And Joe's pretty predictable. He's going to go for the kill. He has a great backhand. He lays the ball down. The thing with Joe is it's all or nothing. And if he doesn't lay it down flat perfect, he's often in the backcourt. But he lays it down perfect quite a bit. Little frustration on the face of Robert about Chris missing.
6-6.
But that's what you get with Chris McDonald. You get great shot, great shot, great shot, miss. Chris is a little rattled with this lob serve. Usually he eats them for lunch. I really do think it's the wind that's kind of the X factor here. Yeah, he's almost crumbling here. Chris is a very accomplished tennis player as well.
Timeout.
Yeah, that lob serve is just destroying Chris at the moment. The chess game so far, advantage Greg Solis. His serves have been what the difference is in the game right now. Robert coaching Chris.
Let's go. Greg. 9-6, first server.
9 serve 6. You know, as bad as Chris played and all the errors he's made. Oh, now it's affecting Robert. For it to be 10-6,
10-6.
with all those unforced errors, I'd actually see it as a positive because I don't believe Chris. There you go. That's his game. I don't believe Chris and Robert are going to continue all these unforced errors. And I'd say at least 2/3 of the points, at least 7 of the points they have so far were on flat out unforced errors. Wind almost brought the ball
6-10.
back in. Kind of excited the crowd a little bit. Great get by Greg Solis.
Thank you.
You know, Greg is in the, like I said, the Racquetball Hall of Fame, and
7-10.
I would say his strength has been his consistency, his court smarts, and his backhand. I'd say most of the people who play with Greg all the time would say that his backhand's actually better than his forehand. And he has such confidence in the front wall, in the front court with his backhand, especially on the pinch.
8-10.
Pinch and the reverse pinch off the backhand. Chris McDonald with the great serve. And this is, like I said in some previous matches, the big thing on the Z serve, if you hit that Z serve with
9-10.
not enough angle and the guy can hit down the line, you're in trouble. Another unforced error by Chris McDonald. Hall of Famer Robert Sostre up there. Greatest one-wall player of all time out of New York. Started out playing paddleball and handball. Then played one-wall racquetball
10-10.
in around 2006, 2007 or so. Started playing three-wall. Didn't take long at all for Robert to just become one of the top guys in three-wall as well.
Thank you.
So out there, we've got a lot of accomplishments. Greg Solis is a multiple-time national champion in doubles out in Huntington
10-10.
Beach. Multiple-time mixed doubles champion as well. Robert Sostre went about 8 or 9 years without losing a one-wall racquetball match with partner Freddie Sostre. Freddie Ramirez also in the Hall of Fame. Joe's won some big tournaments. He became national champion, I think it was 2015 in Huntington Beach. And he's also one of the few non-New York guys to win the Beach Bash in one wall. I believe Joe and Sebastian Franco are the only non-New York team to win the Beach Bash, which is basically known as the One Wall National Championships. Chris back in his groove, playing consistent.
$11-10.
11 serves 10. You got the lead despite playing bad, so nothing to say about that.
$12 serves 10.
Well, let me rephrase that. Not besides playing bad, besides making all those unforced errors. Robert showing off those hands.
Time out.
Guys like, Robert,
13-10.
he's so consistent. He's so money. He never chokes. Nicknamed the Iceman. Well deserved. You can already see the different styles coming out from the two on the left, which is, Joe Young and Chris McDonald. Chris has really been aggressive on that overhead and just push, and has missed and out, and yet they have the lead. I think that bodes poorly for the team in the back. But we got a long match ahead, and Greg and Joe at any point in time could take advantage of Chris again and push him into making some more unforced errors and run the game out quick.
13-10,
or the consistency of Robert keeping Chris broken ball. Keeping Chris on the rails. Making this a match. Don't know, I didn't hear the score. Robert left it up. He was surprised Greg got that first pinch. Wasn't really
13-10.
prepared. Left it up for Joe on the second shot.
I'm going to call that ball passed. My call is passed. You appeal. I call that ball passed.
Well,
Do you agree,
Joe thought he
disagree?
had a chance at that.
Do you agree, disagree? Appeal used. Because it was past you. It was gone. That's it, Joe. Hold it, hold it.
I think that's a good call. I don't
14,
think Joe had a
10.
chance at that ball. 14-10. After looking so bad in the beginning of the game, they're up 14-10.
Skip ball.
Joe skipped it in. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting it to hit a few out the doors. I was gonna tell you just cheat up on that bitch.
Yeah, but the thing is, so I took one step out.
Oh, in the middle? Oh, man, so he's waiting for you.
Yeah, that game kind of surprised me. It looked really bad for Robert and Chris in the beginning. It looked like Chris was just completely struggling with Greg's lob serve, but that was really the only points they won. Chris and Robert were able to cover the court, play through all the long rallies. If it wasn't that lob and Chris hitting it in the ground or hitting it out, the rest of the game was pretty much dominated by Robert and Chris. Here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Outdoor Vic Lebowski calling the game. I do not have the luxury of seeing any of the Facebook feed to respond to any comments. I know that both Joe and Greg are really tough competitors. I would expect them to come out this next game a little less lax. I think in the beginning they felt like they owned it because they were having such an easy time getting points on Chris. But, that's just how Chris is. He can miss 10 in a row and then make 25 in a row, and every one he makes, it just looks impossible. And there it is. He did it again. But it's been a while since I've ever seen him miss that many in a row and have that much trouble. And the only thing that explains it would be the wind. Normally we're broiling out here in Las Vegas. Not broiling, but it's hot. Today it actually feels pretty good. We got a strong breeze. It's made being out here in the Las Vegas weather actually pretty nice. Bearable.
Danny Vasquez, Samson Hernandez. Oh, they missed anything. How about that? Samson.
So, second game.
Sam
Greg Solis and Joe Young are serving. Greg's going to take the serve. I'm curious if Greg is going to go back to the lob, and I'm curious if Chris and Robert talked about some kind of a strategy to attack that lob and not continue to do what they've been doing. Personally, I think I would attack that lob by hitting the overhead into the sidewall at least 10 feet high, and it'll rocket out the door, and there's no way Joe from the back would be able to get there.
0-0.
And off the lob, it's easier to hit it. So right now, either sidewall, well, you see, that's the shot I'm talking about. That is exactly what I was talking about. He could have done that off the serve on the first shot. The I formation sounds good, looks good, unless the opponent knows to do that. And when he hits it like that, and it was so high and it goes out the door,
Short ball.
And it hits that, well, unforced error. But if you hits that low, side front low, there's
0-0.
a greater chance that the player up front's going to get it. Chris, you got to get out the door. He knows that. Grew up playing outdoor racquetball on short walls. He's got to get out that door and trust Robert to cover in case it does hit the wall.
Oh, actually might be 20. 0-0.
0 serve 0. Back to the lob. Nope. Yep. If you're not super aggressive serving at the pro level, front back won't work.
0-0.
Too easy for a player with the consistency of
0-0.
Robert Sostre. Interesting. Robert choosing to come in from in the box. Chris with a perfect side front pinch, backhand pinch.
1-0.
1 serve 0. Speaking of perfect backhands, Greg Solis showing it off, reminding everyone
1-0.
while he is called Mr. Backhand. I guess that was a good
2-0.
shot by, oh no, it was out. I couldn't tell.
Thank you.
Yep, that's a tough shot because Chris actually hit a really good one, just caught Robert off
0-2.
guard, a little flat-footed. Should have been able to get out of the way. Robert was so relaxed with that. The I formation, all he needs to do is hit it away from Greg. Greg was all geared into Chris poaching that.
0-2.
And Robert just smooth as butter in the pinch. So first game went to Chris
2-0,
McDonald
first
and
serve.
Robert Sostre, 2-0 right now. Out ball. Another good serve by Chris. Thank you. Another good serve by Chris.
3-0.
Forced Chris outside the line, or forced Joe Young outside the line. Yeah, Chris took the shot,
3-0.
tended to hit it. Can't call a block. Great serve by Robert. No, Joe was a little bit lazy. He got that serve and kind of walked his way in. If he'd have hustled that one
4-0.
step, he'd have got that ball. A little bit lazy, but he did get a great get on that serve. And Greg Solis with an awesome, great, well thought out shot. Robert off the court, hit the ball chest high, straight middle. There's no way you miss that shot. There's no way the other team gets it.
4-0.
Little change of pace here.
I'm sorry, 0-4,
They've been taken advantage of on the front back too many times. And putting Joe on the right side, that is really rare to see Joe play on either
1-4.
side. He usually is a great proponent of front back. Some more unforced errors from Chris. But hey, it worked for him last game. 7 or 8 or 9 unforced errors, and they won the game.
2-4.
2 serves 4. Yeah, I just don't really understand why Chris is having so much trouble with this overhead. He's had, over the years, player after player after player try to beat him with a lob serve.
Scores 3-4.
And Greg hasn't made him take a step back really. He's just hit it to him where he is, letting him keep his feet under him, and yet Chris is missing.
3-4.
Uncharacteristic of Chris McDonald to miss that many, but it's 3-4. That one, Chris took a step back so he could hit it from his
4-4.
waist, and that was a huge mistake. Now he's going back to Chris McDonald's spot to do that. But Chris makes another unforced error. Greg Solis with the great get. Keep the ball alive.
That's a point, 5-4.
5 serves 4. I got to say the Florida contingent is pretty happy with the results or the great performance by Team Florida in all the divisions, but specifically in the men's pro doubles. 4 of the 8 guys in the semis were from Florida. Alvaro Beltran and Daniel De La Rosa just won their semi over Marcos Gravier and Roy Hernandez. Marcos and Roy have been a team, been playing together for a number of years now. They've won a lot of the tournaments they play in Florida.
Score is 5-4. First serve.
They're a set team. They rarely play with anyone else, and it shows with their coordination and teamwork, but certainly not enough to take out Alvaro and Daniel. You know, 2 amateur guys against 2 pro guys. No matter how good you are as an amateur, you're the underdog.
Say it again, please.
But they represented real well. And here we got 1 Florida guy on each team, plus a quasi-Florida guy in Robert Sostre. Again, I know all of Florida considers him part of us, me included. So Chris back where he belongs, up real close. That's his comfort zone. I'd like to see him hit that side wall. Yeah, I think if Chris starts hitting something different, I mean, I don't even know what to tell him. He should know he's got to do something different. Going for the same shot over and over and over again, making those unforced errors, he's going to have to just realize the wind is affecting his ability to be that aggressive. Instead of hitting down, hit face high into the sidewall. It'll set up. Yeah, he just pushed that ball, beating himself up a little bit, and he still hit it out.
7-4.
7 serves 4, Solis and Joe Young. It was a really great serve. Back to Chris up, but they were still able to get the point. Chris kept it in this time.
7-4.
Joe Young serving. Now Robert with an unforced error.
8 serves 4.
8 serves 4, Joe Young serving.
Thank you. 4 serves. 4 serves 8.
4 serves 8.
Florida right here.
Chris McDonald with a great shot.
Give me a second, Rob. 5 serves 8.
5 serves 8. Robert Sostre serving. Now Joe Young with a very uncharacteristic unforced error. You know, it could be that even on the harder hit balls, not just the lobs, the guys are struggling with the wind.
Thank you.
All righty.
6-8, second server.
6 serves 8. Chris McDonald serving. I know indoors you rarely see that overhead serve, well, in general ever, but especially any kind of serve that's just straight down the middle. But again, without a back wall, all the dynamics are different. It's a good hold up by Greg Solis for safety. I don't believe that was a penalty hinder.
7-8 again.
7-8 again. Very uncharacteristic unforced error out of Greg. Again, you know, Greg Solis and Robert Sostre would certainly be the 2 consistent guys out there. Very thinking and very calculated and measured in the shots they're hitting. usually not haphazard. They usually have a plan. That would have been an automatic penalty anyway, even if it didn't hit him. It's a couple of great gets. Another thing that happens in outdoor racquetball and unique courts, cracks on the floor, cracks on the wall, whether it's here at the park, play through. Weird bounce, play through. Hits a nail on the wall, play through. Yeah, if I was coaching Chris, I would be telling him to still be aggressive and to still be swinging hard. He's not the kind of guy that can swing 50%, but he can change his spot a little bit. Instead of trying to hit the bottom board and have it pop up and give great angle, either hit the sidewall, either sidewall, to have it rocket out the door. Shot that up in Gainesville, they call it the whip shot.
Score is 9-8, second server.
That's the only place they call that. And his family has mastered that shot, but I'm surprised he's not going to it. And again, he won the first game.
Ten-8, second server. Timeout. One more. 11-8.
All right, we've got similar as last game, seemingly a ton of unforced errors from the front team, yet they're winning. I think they're winning most of the rallies. They're making good shots after that initial serve. And I think that lob serve may get a little bit better. The wind has just picked up a little more. And I think it's not one of the things wrong with outdoor. I think that's one of the great things about outdoors, to have a different dynamic every time you come out, whether the wind, the sun. Greg Solis with a great play. Great pinch for him. Robert probably telling Chris to do something different.
8-11, first server.
If Greg pops that ball a little bit over to the left, like right there, straight. Oh my God.
9-11.
Yeah, he's struggling right now, Chris, on these serves.
Replay that.
Wow. Marcos Gravier, the referee, calls that a replay. I would have called that a penalty all day. But I'm not the ref, thank goodness. Well, what do you know? I tell Chris to go side front, go out the door, give yourself a chance to get position. Joe has to hit that ball from chest high at a bad angle, play for the second or third shot, and you win. And that's just what he did right there. I think if Chris...
My call is
I don't know what even this discussion is about.
My call's no hold. Okay, I understand that, but the problem is that both of you are right there. So
they're all arguing. They're all unhappy about something called with a penalty hinder. I'm not sure what the lawyers are all doing right now, litigating their case.
okay. I didn't hear the hold, so they missed the ball. Do you agree or disagree?
All right, so there was an appeal on something, and it was overruled, and it ends up with
Don't
Joe
serve
Young.
yet. Hold on. Let them finish.
Joe Young serving. Let me hear the score.
9 serves 11.
9 serves 11. That's Chris McDonald's style of play right there. You give it to him in the front court, he's going to hit that pinch. It's going to go low. He's going to be aggressive, and it's going to look
11 serves
awkward
9.
and be great. Robert Sostre serving. Good get by Robert. Backing up his partner, Chris. Joe Young, great shot. Stepped up, saw it coming, put it away. Which is especially tough with guys like Robert and Chris in great position in the front court, and Joe just killed it in their face. Great back of the wall serve by Chris. And a great drop shot. Drop shot, dink, whatever you want to call it. That was just great. It's on purpose. And it's maybe going to give Chris some confidence.
12 serves 9, second server.
If they go after him again on that lob serve. 12-9. Point. Didn't really see what happened. I don't know if it hit Greg or if he just was a miss or if it hit Robert.
13 serves 9.
13 serves 9. (14-9). Greg Solis with a very uncharacteristic
14-9.
unforced error. That was one of those times when I think a lob might have been a really good idea. Greg was just behind the two guys in front. They were really pushed up in front of the short line still.
No, 2 bounces.
So Greg Solis with a kill from the back. Chris thinks he got it.
I call 2 bounces. Call stands. Appeal used. Chris, your towel.
I really couldn't tell, but I trust that the guys down there could. Chris was sure he got it.
9-14, first server.
9 serves 14. So that's not a bad return right there. Didn't have to go bottom board. Was able to keep it in, have it pop up, make Joe hit a ball from up high.
9-14,
9-14, second server. Joe has never done a lob serve in his life, and he's going to sit there at 9-14 try to do a lob serve. In his, I have been playing ball with Joe for 10 plus years, and I've never even seen him attempt a lob serve. That's it makes me smile a little bit just thinking about that, how unusual that last attempt was. And the wind pulled it out.
Play it again, please.
Yep, that's a play it again. All right, Chris with serving. And that's the match. Robert Sostre and Chris McDonald in the finals. Robert won last year with Bobby Horn. Or was that the year before? That was the year before. 2 years ago, Robert Sostre won with Bobby Horn. Chris has been in the finals of this tournament with Mike Harmon. And they're both in the finals again against Alvaro and De La Rosa. And Daniel, and Alvaro Beltran and Daniel De La Rosa. Obviously, Alvaro and Daniel are going to be the favorites, but if there's a team that can possibly give them a little bit of what for and make them have to really work at it and possibly even beat them on a good day, it's going to be Chris McDonald and Robert. You know, Chris has that ability to turn it on when he needs to and make some amazing shots. And Robert has the ability to get the ball, play smart, and always choose the right one. So we'll see how it looks tomorrow. I'll be commentating that match tomorrow afternoon as well. So I believe we're going to sign off until the next match. This is Outdoor Vic Lebowski here in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada at 3-Wall Ball. We'll see you at the beginning of the next match.
I'm Holly Scott, I'm 20 years old, and I'm from Seattle, Washington. I've been playing racquetball for about 15 years. My dad started because I didn't like the daycare at the gym, so I was very bored and I needed to go play racquetball. It's my calling. I love the LPRT. I get to travel, meet new people, work on my Spanish, and it's just a great experience and everyone should experience it. Reaching your dream foundation is really important to me because it helps me travel, to get experience, to do better. Racquetball and in life, they teach you to do things professionally, on and off the court. My goal is to be #1. Obviously, same with everybody. It's difficult, but with their help, I can work for it every single tournament and get better. Donations are greatly appreciated, no matter how big or small. It helps players like me reach our dream.